Eisenstein's 5 types of montage. Sergei Eisenstein talked about 5 different methods of montage in his writings, collected under the titles film form and film sense. The 5 montage types he elaborated are: first one is metric. This montage is based purely on the physical nature of time, cutting to the next shot no matter what is happening within the image. The fundamental criterion of this montage is the length of shots, which are joined together according to their length in formulaic pattern. Tension is obtained by mechanical acceleration by shortening the length of the shots, often related to musical pieces where the beats are recognizable to keep the emotional pace linked to the pulse of the audience and the narrative. Rhythmic montage. In rhythmic montage, the visual content within the frame also has equal importance as the length of the shot. Here, cuts maintain visual continuity, but it may also be used in order to keep with the pace of the film. A good example of this is the legendary Odessa sequence from Battleship Potemkin. Tonal. A tonal montage uses the emotional meaning of the shots by not just manipulating the temporal length of cuts or its rhythmical characteristics. A reaction that is more complex than rhythmic and metric is extracted. An example of this kind could be found in the sequence where the character Vakulinchuk dies in Eisenstein's Battleship Potemkin. Overtonal or associational montage. This type of montage is an accumulation of metric, rhythmic, and tonal montage to synthesize its effect on the audience for an even more abstract and complicated effect. Intellectual montage. This montage uses a combination of shots of different orders to create a meaning. A good example of this would be the scene from Apocalypse Now where Klutz is being executed. They mix in shots of water buffalo being slaughtered. Here the meaning or the effect is created by juxtaposing of 2 sets of disparate shots. Use of montage in Odessa Steps scene of Battleship Potemkin. Sergei Eisenstein's famous Odessa Steps sequence from the Battleship Potemkin is one of the most influential montage sequences in film history. The scene begins with the gathering of friendly citizens on the steps leading down to the port of Odessa to celebrate the victory of mutinous sailors over the Tsarist officers on the Battleship Potemkin. Then, from out of nowhere, lines of government soldiers appear at the top of the steps and begin firing the crowd. The sequence takes place towards the end of the film, after we are introduced to a number of miserable peasants who are fired upon and murdered. The soldiers placed on top of the stairs walking down resonate with authority and power, making the slaughter of the poor depressed masses even more brutal and arbitrary. Typically, audiences are more used to accepting battles between equal opponents, but not with a powerful figure mercilessly beating down the underdogs. Eisenstein's method of montage basically focused on creating concepts and meanings through the use of intellectual montage. Here, through the juxtaposing of shots, more powerful meaning which are purely conceptual are achieved. Look at this example of intellectual montage from the Battleship Potemkin. After the shot of the battleship bombing Odessa, Eisenstein cuts to the shot of the statue of a sleeping lion and that of a lion that is waking up, and then that of a lion that has risen and roaring. Here it can be argued that the idea or the concept that Eisenstein evokes is that of a sleeping giant or people waking up like a lion. The second type of montage that Eisenstein uses here is metric montage, where the pieces are joined together according to their length, corresponding to a measure of music. In the scene where the woman is shot and the pram rattles down the steps, Eisenstein puts side by side the shots of troops marching down the steps and the shots of chaos that follows. Through the use of metric montage, Eisenstein juxtaposes chronos, linear time, and kairos, a mythical time. In chronos, the fall of the baby off the steps would normally occur within seconds. However, Through metric montage, Eisenstein creates a mythical time by which the fall of the baby takes more time than usual. Other than the dramatic effect of such time manipulation, metric montage, by extending time, amplifies the viewer's emotional reaction to the act of brutality. According to Eisenstein, in rhythmic montage, the fragmentation of shots is something that is deeply related to content. The Odessa steps scene as a whole is a perfect example. Eisenstein uses cuts to build from the rhythm of soldiers stamping feet on the steps to the pram rattling down the steps. As the carriage goes faster, the soldiers' boots faster and faster in brutal rhythm in order to create a comparison between two descending the steps, an innocent baby pram as against a marching of a troop of soldiers. Eisenstein notes that the tonal montage depends on the emotions that the shot evokes. Here, emotions are reflected by the methodical use of lights, shadows, and framing. In the Odessa step scene, when the mother sees her son bleeding on the stairs, a close-up shot on her face reveals her anguish before she is seen holding her son and moving up towards the troops marching down. As she faces the troops, there is a shot where their shadows march forward and surround the woman before she is shot dead. Such juxtaposition of the defenseless against the heavily armed many captures the revolutionary or avant-garde spirit of the moment. The last type of montage that Eisenstein employs in the battleship Potemkin is the overtonal montage that is distinguishable from tonal montage by the creative combination of all three montage methods: rhythmic, tonal, and metric. In Odessa step scene, for example, an old lady is seen surrounded by a group of frightened youth. This is tonal. And then it cuts to people running randomly down the stairs, which is rhythmic, and then back to the old lady, which is also rhythmic, thus building up an overtonal montage through different fragments. The overall rhythm of the scene where the soldier marched towards the baby in the pram methodically garner gradual build-up of sympathy from the audience. The scene thus substantiates Eisenstein's argument that fragment has no meaning on its own. It is a unit of discourse and as such participates in creating meaning through its relationship with other fragments. All in all, montage of attraction is formed through the 5 montage methods that Eisenstein and Soviet montage movement developed and adopted. Meaning and emotional effect in Eisenstein's work are established through dynamic of images amplified by rapid and rhythmic editing. It is no surprise that this film and the Odessa step sequence in particular has gone to influence a wealth of filmmakers around the world.